I have always been a huge fan of Kritika Online. See, back before it ever received a North American release, I played the Playpark version of the game and brought it to the attention of our viewers a couple years ago. I thought the graphics were fantastic, the combat was highly engaging, and overall it was a really good hub-based MMORPG. So you can imagine my surprise when the game was shut down earlier this year. Thankfully, ALLM, the South Korean developers of Kritika, saw the potential for the game and opted to self-publish the game in the West in place of having someone else incorrectly handle the game once more. And here we are, at the end of 2019, with a brand new rendition of Kritika called Kritika Reboot. Before I continue, I would like to point out that this video is sponsored. Not only can you go right ahead and download the game by clicking the link in the pinned comment and in the description below, but we also have unique goodies to give away. If you head on over to my website, MMOByte.tv, using the link in the description and the pinned comment, you'll find a unique promotional code to use once you begin Kritika that will offer you a 7-day premium, outfits, weapon skins, and a pet. Yeah, you guys are all welcome. Kritika Reboot is a highly dynamic, fast-paced action MMO. There are overworld hubs where players traditionally relax, take quests, sell items, upgrade gear, and talk amongst one another. Then there are the dungeons where most of the game takes place, unlocked by continuing with the game's story. These are pretty varied and offer various difficulty options for players to tackle if you want a challenge. Granted, I will point out that early on the dungeons are pretty easy, but I know for a fact that they get much more difficult and more intuitive as the game itself goes on. And that's where grouping up with other people comes in. You might not need to necessarily during the introductory levels, but not only does it make things go faster, but trust me, it is always a good thing to build relationships early on. Thankfully, I play pretty much every game with MRSSSTIX, so at the very least, I will always have another person to play with, whether she plays DPS or opts to go healer to keep me alive. Since a majority of the game does take place around running through a plethora of dungeons and fighting your way through hordes of monsters, it'd suck if the combat were dull and boring, right? Thankfully, as I stated during the intro, I believe Kritika had great combat. Coming back to the game, I still feel that way. Normally, I play as the scythe-wielding Reaper, but this time I felt like I wanted to go and try something new. Thus, I went ahead and made the Eclair class. I felt like the description for the class just kinda spoke to me. I have always wanted to be a masochistic runaway emo teenage girl. Jokes aside though, there are quite a few classes to choose from in-game. The Monk, the Noblia, the Warrior, the Rogue, the Gun Mage, Reaper, Eclair, and the most recent addition to the game, the Archer. Each class brings their own unique personality, their own flair and style of combat to the game, providing you with a surplus of ways with which to progress through the game. The combat is complete action, there is no auto-locking on at all. You're required to aim your skills and as such are completely capable of overshooting your mark, which I'm totally not guilty of doing because my aim is true. But MRSSSTIX, she normally plays healers in video games, so she's a little less true with hers. Hi.
What was that?
What was what?
What did you say?
Nothing.
I heard me. I heard my name. What did you say?
I love you.
That's not what you said. It was longer than that.
There are plenty of skills to choose between, with each and every skill being upgradable as you continue to level your character. I didn't really know what I was doing, so I just kinda YOLO'd whatever looked to be doing the most damage to me. Probably not the ideal way to build your character, but I can't be held accountable for my character's build if you leave me unmonitored and without a guide. Each dungeon is designed for smaller, quicker play sessions in mind, allowing you to jump into the game and get right into the action as soon as possible, with every dungeon resulting in a large boss battle. Speaking of characters earlier, I would also like to point out that while there are initial classes, several of the classes you can choose between are actually capable of progressing into additional subclasses. This provides additional customization options for characters that you wouldn't have otherwise, allowing for more variety in how you decide to tackle each dungeon and subsequently each boss encounter. Overall, I had a lot of fun playing the re-released Kritika Reboot. I'm glad that ALLM have decided to self-publish the game over here because I feel like there's a market for it. There aren't really many action brawler MMOs with active populations anymore, and it's good to see that there are thousands of players playing concurrently through the game. For the kind of game Kritika Reboot is, it is actually pretty packed with players all participating in content, partying up, PvPing, and doing dungeons together. Or maybe they're just off collecting outfits, of which there are a ton. And let's be real here, what would an MMO be without a plethora of outfits after all, right? I look forward to seeing where ALLM take Kritika Reboot going into the future. I have always been a fan of the game and will likely remain a fan of the game for a long time to come. For reference, you can go ahead and type MMOByte Kritika into YouTube if you want to see exactly how many videos I've done on Kritika over time. Hopefully you guys enjoy the game as much as I did, but I understand that hub-based MMOs aren't for everyone. Nevertheless, I urge you to at least give the game a try and see what you think. Again, you can use my link in the description and the pinned comment for that if you're interested. The game is completely free after all. Worst case scenario, you waste a couple hours of your time. Alternatively, you might really enjoy what you play. Totally worth it to me. But that's just my opinion, my first impressions of the game. What do you guys think? Are you looking forward to it? Does it look exciting? Will you try it out, or do you even want to? Let me know in the comments below and let's talk about it. Anyway guys, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
Dance, take it, chill, yeah, pick your pace. I'm just hanging with my friends. Oh, hey.